Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Happy Thursday morning to you. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and this is what I call my morning musings. Hey, before we get started this morning, I want to ask you to do something for me, all right? I hear from so many of you expressing appreciation for morning musings. I mean, literally from all around the world. Okay, I would like to ask, here we are at the end of the year of 2015. I would like to ask, as you do your financial planning for this next year, to include Preterist Research Institute in those plans. We have some absolutely fantastic opportunities lying ahead of us. We're working on a trip to India. We are working on a trip to Ethiopia. We are working on another trip overseas that I won't even mention just yet. But the opportunities are absolutely fantastic, and we need your help to be able to take advantage of these opportunities. A one-time gift, greatly appreciated. A regular monthly contribution, greatly appreciated. So, if you would, please give this some prayerful, careful thought of how you can help us take advantage of these fantastic opportunities that are presenting themselves to spread the marvelous word of how God has kept His promises. We can trust in Jesus as the Son of God. We can trust the Bible as His Word. So please, partner with us and help us take advantage of these fantastic opportunities. Okay, we are looking at the eschatology of the parables of Jesus in Luke chapter 18. And we have to keep in mind, the context is persecution. In Luke chapter 17, Jesus said, the Son of Man must suffer of this generation. And He knew that His disciples were going to follow Him in that persecution. That's why He told them they ought to pray always. So He tells the parable of the importunate widow who cries out for vengeance. And then Jesus says, will not God avenge His elect who cry out to Him day and night? Verily I say to you, He will avenge them speedily. You know, it's absolutely fascinating to me and disturbing how people look at Jesus' promise in Luke chapter 18 and they completely divorce it, really, from eschatology. But we can't do that, because in the very next statement, Jesus said, nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will He even find faith on the earth? Persecution and the coming of the Lord and the vindication of the martyrs at the coming of the Lord is absolutely inextricably bound up together. Now, let me illustrate that. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, Paul writes to the church at Thessalonica 2,000 years ago. And he said, brethren, we are bound to give thanks to you always for your faith and your patience in the midst of your tribulations that you are currently enduring. It's a paraphrase, of course. And he says, it is a righteous thing with God to give to those who are troubling you tribulation, and to give to you who are being troubled relief. From the Greek word onesis. Onesis is never reward. Okay? Onesis, when used with the Greek word thalipsis, which means pressure, tribulation, persecution, onesis invariably means relief from whatever pressure is being experienced. They were experiencing persecution for the cause of Christ. Okay? Paul said, you're going to get relief. Relief from what? From that persecution. Pardon me. When would they receive that relief? Now remember, he's writing to Thessalonians 2,000 years ago. And he said that the persecutors would have the tables turned on them, but when would all this take place? Verse 7, when the Lord Jesus is revealed from heaven. Folks, there's the promise of Luke chapter 18. He will avenge, Greek word ekdekesis, and that's exactly what 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 is all about. Luke chapter 18, he will avenge them speedily. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, you who are being troubled will receive relief when the Lord Jesus is revealed from heaven. Now notice this. Paul didn't say, oh, well, you may be killed in this persecution, but you go to Abraham's bosom and receive relief from that persecution. It's not what he said. It's not in the text, not in the context. He didn't say, well, you may be killed and you'll lie in the grave for a couple of thousand years, and then ultimately when the Lord Jesus comes, you'll be taken to heaven. It's not what he says. They would be given relief from that persecution when the Lord Jesus is revealed from heaven. Folks, that demands that the coming of the Lord of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 had to have been in the lifetime of the Thessalonians. Look, you can't give somebody relief from something at your coming unless they're experiencing that, whatever it is, at the time of your coming. Persecution, relief from persecution when the Lord Jesus is revealed. If you want more and a real in-depth examination of this, you need to get a copy of my book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air, the Wedding of the King of Kings. A fantastic discussion of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 is included in this book. Go to my website, eschatology.org or bibleprophecy.com, and order the book, We Shall Meet Him in the Air. Make mention that you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll pay your shipping. And then, remember, I'll give you a free copy of the CD of the paper I presented at Criswell College in Dallas, Texas in 2012, dealing with the vindication of the martyrs and the end of the millennium. I want to tell you, after that presentation, I had several students from that dispensational college come up to me and tell me it was the most persuasive lesson they had ever heard in their life. That's how powerful this information is. So, order the book, you get the CD free. Thanks so much for joining me for this morning's morning musings, and yes, indeed, we've got more. But you have a great weekend. Be safe. Lord willing, we'll see you next Monday.